our role in SALCC been where it is now. It's not even about that.
So I'm sorry, sir, but again, in the sense that we're giving the government a little flack for what they're doing now in terms of their pronouncements, the opposition. But of course, some would say that the opposition served the last 5 years, and we've seen no difference from 2011 to 2016.
But that's what I was saying to you.
Oh, yeah.
You're talking about two different issues. Two different issues. You're talking about whether or not successive governments has put in enough money to expand SALCC to make it genuinely what we want as a tertiary institution providing tertiary education for all. And that's a fair question. What the Prime Minister said is the polar opposite of that.
No,
the Prime Minister.
The Prime Minister's argument, also did tell the board that Nicole was the one who said, who said that they wanted from the board what progress they've made towards a university college before they can set. I don't know if it's one of the convoluted
now,
things.
I want you to analyze that. Now, let's just reflect on that. Nicole says they're inviting the board to come on a deep cabinet on progress towards becoming a university before they can ask for an increase in fees. The SALCC board is saying the amount we're getting to be SALCC is not even enough to run it. But she's saying to come and update cabinet on the movement towards becoming a university, yeah? But they're not even getting enough to be SALCC community college. Worse, the Prime Minister's philosophy on education, and he says so, when government changes its policy, anybody in St. Lucia who wants post-secondary education, they will get a scholarship of $3,000. That means the Prime Minister is not even thinking of providing university education. He's telling you post-secondary education, he will give everybody $3,000 so they can go to an institution. The Prime Minister is virtually saying there need to be other private institutions in this country. I give you your $3,000 and then you go and find post-secondary education. So whereas the fight is for more money to make SALCC more relevant and to expand, the Prime Minister said, no. Any post-secondary education in this country, and go and check the transcript and listen to the tape again. When government policy changes, anybody who wants to do post-secondary education, we will give them a scholarship of $3,000. So that's why I'm telling you, the debate is two different debates. So we can talk about whether or not successive governments have put enough in SALCC to make it develop into the kind of tertiary institution we want. And I will tell you, obviously enough resources have not been put into SALCC. But that's one debate. At least both sides would have a commitment to providing tertiary education for all St. Lucians. It's a debate of whether who has put more, who will put more. What the Prime Minister is saying is radically transforming our concept of education, its role in the development of our country. The Prime Minister is saying all the fights we had in the past, the post-colonial fights, and you can go back from historical times and read the Mon Commission in 1930, after the labor riots, when the British government set up the Mon Commission to study the social and economic conditions in those colonies and the fundamental role of education in improving the lot of those societies were recognized. That role of education was recognized. To the fight we had in the 1980s in NYC for education to be a right, the fight we had that led to the Labour Party in 1999 under Mario Michel having universal secondary education, is because of a belief that education is a fundamental right that must be provided to the children and youth of this country. The Prime Minister is throwing that on its head. He's saying, in his view, when government policy changes, and anybody to do post-secondary education will get a scholarship of $3,000 a year. And Balfinipu, think about it. This is deeper than just who gives the offer, whether 2 million more, 1 million more. The whole philosophy of education in our society, the role of education has been challenged by the Prime Minister. And that is what I have. And I'm very passionate about it because, let me tell you, I was a student leader in those 80s, and certainly a lot of us demonstrated and marched at A-level college then, arguing for those fundamental rights. We've now been told go back and fight those battles.
So can I quote you correctly as saying that the Prime Minister has an elitist philosophy as it relates to education?
You can quote me and say that. It is elitist, it is privileged, and it is prejudicial to the masses of St. Lucia.